I did have one, but so one of my topics, excuse me, is there's been a lot in the media here in the last week or so with a specific rapper and his intersection with culture and civil rights and social justice and all of those things. And so my question and my topic was really about the responsibility, or is there a real responsibility on quote unquote rappers and their role in social justice,
You're going serious,
civil rights?
Okay, yeah, we ain't laughing yet. We're gonna laugh later.
Yeah.
Is there like a responsibility?
Is there? And if there is, what does it look like? And who's responsible for it?
And we're talking about social justice and just social justice in general, right?
All things, because this individual is.
You want to say who?
Kanye. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know who you was talking about.
Yeah, I'm saying, so Kanye is a cultural icon.
Yeah.
Right? And I say cultural because his talent spans music, it spans fashion, it spans art, it spans a lot of those things. I mean, and so with a platform and what he says and or does, it's across the board. It reaches more people than, let's say, a rapper from Dallas. What's it? Yella Beezy. I'm just throwing a person name out there,
right,
who's a notable rapper from a city.
Right.
And so there's been a lot of talk about if Kanye's words and the things that he said over the last week or two, if they are detrimental to the culture or to black people overall. And so I'm simply saying, who gets to speak for the culture?
So that's an interesting. It's a lot of interesting things that you said in there. So I think let me start from the last one. Who gets to speak for the culture? Whoever's participating in the culture can speak to the culture.
Okay.
No one can speak for us.
All right.
No one. You know what I'm saying? Because we are not. What do they say? A monolith.
We are not monolithic.
You know what I'm saying? So we all have. You might believe one thing and I'll believe another. You know what I'm saying? We don't all have one way of thinking and one way of moving. So the first responsibility of an artist is to be true to themselves.
Okay. All right.
Right.
I like it. Yeah.
Be true to yourself first. Right. So let me know who you are, so I know what you're doing. Meaning, if I know who you are, Rick Ross, if I knew who Rick Ross was a long time ago, then I wouldn't have hated him for all those years.
Okay.
Because of what he was perpetrating, the message he was putting across in his interviews.
Right.
Music, cool, man. Talk all the gangster shit you want. I'm cool with that. I love it. You know what I mean? But when you talk and you're telling me, you're trying to tell me who you are, and you're telling me that you're this gangster, and I don't believe you, then I know you're not telling the truth. You know what I mean? But one of the things that we've learned is that it really is entertainment, the entire thing.
Okay. So if we accept that portions of hip hop or rap or the most notable individual, anybody in rap, is entertainment, then who and when gets to speak to, not gets to speak, because everybody can speak, right? That's their job. What amount of weight do we put on the words of individuals?
That's based on their merit, right?
Okay.
So show me who you are, right?
Okay.
And that's through words and actions,
right?
So, and then that tells me how much weight I should put on what you're saying.
Okay.
Out of all the things that you say, what weight I should put on which words? How much weight should I put on which words? For instance, Hove. Right, everyone loves to use Hove as examples in hip hop. Every single podcast brings up Hove.
Right.
Hove is a person that I give the benefit of the doubt when he speaks. I believe in him.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So, and based off of the things that he's done for the culture.
So he's proven his worth to the culture to you.
Yeah, to me. You know what I mean? So that's not saying that I'm following him blindly.
Right.
There's not a human being on this planet that I'm following blindly. But so that's how I'm with him. Let's talk about, if we want to get to Kanye or any other artist for that matter. Some of them are up there, some of them are down here. You know what I mean?
Right.
Based on the things that they've accomplished, the things that they've done, what they've shown me as far as who they are.
So for instance, in a bag of individuals who never need to be questioned would be a Talib Kweli.
No, Talib's not in that group with me.
Okay. Oh.
Talib's not in that group. And I rock with Talib hard. You know what I'm saying?
Interesting.
Heavy. But Talib has leaned so far over to another side. He's fighting, I think he's fighting a fight. He's fighting against Ghost, yo. Who are you fighting against? And how does this fight end? What's victory in this fight? You know what I'm saying? So Talib will call somebody a Nazi in a second.
Right.
So it's like, I don't even call people racist. How do you you know what I'm saying? Like how
do you get there's a lot in between.
It's a lot.
Guy saying something and being a
so
Nazi.
Talib, I rock with Talib, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not, he's not there for me.
Right.
You know what I mean? But there's other individuals.
But what about the and I'm not trying to sway you on Talib Kweli. I'm just using him as an example. What about the intention of his, I won't say the intent, the intention of his heart on those things?
I think Talib, specifically Talib, I think he has good intentions.
Okay.
All right. I don't think that he's against the culture.
Right.
And I don't think he's against black people.
Correct.
Which are two of my most important things. You know what I mean? So yeah, he's shown me, but I just let's just say if he's walking down the street and he says, yo, let's go walk with me around the corner and about to go set it on these racist dudes. I'm gonna be like, what did they do? Who we talking about?
Who are we talking about?
Who are we talking about? 'Cause I might know them and I might know that they're not racist, but you're Talib. And it'll take much for you to call somebody a racist.
Absolutely.
So, I can't just follow you. I can't follow him like that. I can't give him the benefit of the doubt. I have to, I gotta do a little Googling first. So we get off a little bit.
No. So I think that is important because, a lot of times what's happening with Kanye is people are putting the weight of his words on the entire culture. They're saying what he's saying is detrimental to the progression black people have made.
I don't agree. I don't agree that there is. I don't think that he holds that much weight for black people that his words can set us back in any way. How are you going to set us back when all I have to do is turn, as Donnie said earlier, all I have to do is turn my laptop off or turn my phone off. I can completely cut him off and still accomplish anything that I want to accomplish out here to help my people.
So I think what I've realized is that there are two perspectives to that response. There's the response that I think some people use the response that isn't warranted in their lifestyle. And by that I mean there are, and I'll for conversation's sake say freedom fighters who are working against systems, right?
Okay.
Those individuals have different conversations with different people.
Yes.
Right? Than the average person who will just turn off their computer. When that person says Kanye's words are detrimental, they're saying that because when they go to have these conversations, Kanye's words are actually regurgitated to them, right?
So the rhetoric.
Right? But it's used as, well, he said so, right? I'll give the example of that time when I had the conversation with those individuals about the removing of the Confederate flag. The lady called me a Negro in 2019. Right?
Right.
No, I'm sorry. She didn't say Negro. She said colored. Right?
That's worse.
Exactly.
Way worse.
She used the word colored regarding black people in that conversation. When challenged, her response was, well, it's in the name of your organization. Right? And so, but most individuals never get to have a conversation with an individual who can and will say that, will regurgitate those things and are using little things. That's happened a number of times before. So I think what happens is, and I'll use regular people for this context, people who aren't in the freedom fighting business don't deal with people who would use that as a bullet in their gun in the conversation.
Okay. I can dig that.
And so what I think is people have co-opted that by saying, rallying behind, well, Kanye, just anything he says is setting us back. Well, it's not really setting you back because you're not really having that conversations about fighting forward, right? The individuals who are actually will feel that way because the person on the other side of the table actually says it.
One could argue that, and this is taking things on a whole different level.
That's what we're here for.
One could argue that those words are actually setting the person on the other side of the table of the freedom fighter back.
No dis.
And keeping them stagnant and in place where they are.
I agree with you 100%.
You know what I mean?
And it's reminded of them when they use that because they only pull it out when they're losing.
Right.
I'll be completely honest with you.
Right.
It's when they're back against the wall is when
Right.
they pull it out. But the fact is, it's just fodder for them to pull out.
Right. So this is two different perspectives on the impact or you know what I'm saying of his words or lack of impact on my level, because I'm not a freedom fighter in the sense that you're speaking.
Absolutely.
Right. I have my own way of doing things and whatnot.
Right.
And the things that you're doing, the tables that you're sitting at, I have no desire to sit at those tables.
Right.
Because I don't do my thing that way.
Right.
So yeah, there's nothing Kanye can say nothing to stop me from gathering 500 pairs of shoes and giving those to kids,
right,
and people who need them.
Very
you know what I'm
true.
saying? There's nothing that he can say that can stop that. But if you're trying to get, certain inequalities worked out for a school that you're representing,
right,
and you have to speak to certain people, then they can use that rhetoric against you that can hold you back from accomplishing what you're trying to accomplish.
Absolutely.
And that's going to impact the people that it should be helping out.
And that's the setback.
Right.
That's the setback that freedom fighters are talking about. It's not the setback that the common person is talking about. They're just regurgitating something from someone else. It doesn't, because like you said, a regular individual will say, I'm not messing with Kanye. And I'll use Donnie for an example. We were talking last week about it, and I said, well, it's the same thing when he was wearing the MAGA hat. It's the T-shirt. Donnie was like, but the MAGA hat didn't have that effect for me.
Right.
Whereas I am sitting at tables and people show up with the MAGA hat on purpose. So that way they know where I stand, where they stand, and they're letting me know this is my tone coming in. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Yep. So when he wears the White Lives Matter T-shirt, I say, well, it's the same. I feel the same way I felt about the MAGA hat. It hits different because of the experience that I have with individuals who are using that thing as a badge.
Yeah, the Kanye thing is a very it's what we're talking about. Even outside of Kanye, it'll never go away. It
won't.
Because people have a voice.
They do, and I think as a community, and I'll say as a hip hop community, we people will come in and out of it, man. As we are as a people and as a hip hop community, there's a lot to us.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So you can have Lil Boosie talk about, paying a prostitute to have sex with his son one moment.
Oh my God.
You know, like literally one
She belongs
moment.
to the streets.
You know, but then talk about ownership and, you know, the black plight of not having your own and censorship. And like all of those things are wrapped into one human being. So,
Right.
So when when I ask the question about who speaks for the culture and when they speak, it's wild because sometimes it is the person who we don't think should be able to speak that speaks, you know, and it may
Right.
be prolific in that moment, but
Right.
it's in that moment, you know what I mean?
Right.
And that's that.
Look, man. You know how I say. I mean, I'm all about. I'm all about the movement and the culture and my black folks. You already know. And some people I tune out when I need to, or when I want to, and some people like for Kanye, and we're gonna get off of the whole Kanye thing in a couple seconds. But with this dude, I find myself having to dig down to see if I understand what he was trying to say, even if he said it in a fucked up way, right? Because this is what I have to do with him. So what happened with the MAGA hat is I did that, and I was like, I see what he was trying to do, but it's fucked up what he did.
Right.
But I see what he was trying to say. With this one, I didn't. When I tried to dig, I found nothing but nonsense.
Nothing but right.
You know what I'm saying?
And
Just,
he's not
just
giving
nonsense.
anymore, right.
No, you know what I'm saying? Just nonsense. So I can't ride with him. It's stupid. You know what I mean? And that's pretty much it. But but let's lighten it up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Let's lighten it up a little bit, boy. Woo, man.
Since we're talking about hip hop,
Joe X over here.
Listen, ladies and gentlemen, there's always I am blackity black. There's always gonna be
it's always them light skinned ones, man. You know what I'm saying? Come over here and talk about what we need to do.
Listen, man. I'm fresh off that Curacao tan. I'm on some brownie action.
Got a little
right
brown
now,
up and stuff, and I come on here
I'm
talking
brown
about
X
Buju
right now.
Banton. You know what I'm saying? Browning over here. What's good though, man?